Hi, this is Tara Omatosho with another interview from Inspired into Action. Today we have Lady Bobette Brown here. How are you doing today?
I am doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing excellent as well. Thank you for taking the time out to talk to us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, Lady Bobette, can you tell us about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'd love to. So, as you've already said, I am Lady Bobette Brown. I'm a speaker, author, coach, founder, and CEO of LadyBobette.com, BGB Enterprises, and also soon CombatBootsToBusinessSuits.com. And what do? I help women who are in transition overcome personal obstacles so that they can create a life that is both purposeful and profitable. Love doing it.
That's great. That is great. That sounds like a great niche and one that I know that you are up for the task of accomplishing.
Thank
Um,
you.
could you tell us what inspired you to start this business, this coaching business, and the speaking business?
Well, I've always, as far as speaking, growing up, you always hear you talk too much. So it's great to be paid for something that you enjoy doing. So what really inspired me is the need. I was already doing it. I had an opportunity just over my years to pour into the lives of young ladies. And I often say young ladies because to me, the majority of my audience, the ladies are younger than me. So I always say young ladies. So I've been doing it for years. And I guess it's been about 2 years ago, maybe about 2.5 years ago, I decided I'd been coaching and pouring into women's lives just down through the years. And I decided I wanted to become a coach. Now, I've been thinking about coaching for a long time, but this time I wanted to take it a step further and I decided to get certified. So I went through CAP Institute with Valerie Burton and went through her program. Uh, great program. And from there, I got my certification as a personal and executive coach. And that's where it all started. So I started that and I launched BGB Enterprises with the coaching piece, which is Transform You Coaching.com. And that's my site, Transform the letter U Coaching.com, or even LadyBobette.com. And that's how it all started for me. And I've been doing it. I've been having a ball doing what I love, both speaking. I've had some phenomenal experiences. As a veteran, I was in HBO Studios recently in New York City. I've been on numerous television stations, CBS, ABC, radio stations, magazines. I've just had a lot of opportunity to use my spoken voice as well as to share in written forms as well. So it's just been a phenomenal trip for me. So just wanting to inspire to leave a mark long after I'm gone. I wanted to be able to leave a legacy.
And isn't it so good how you're able to really do things that you are, like you said, that you were already doing, but getting paid for it. Like you were already speaking to young women. You were, teaching. When I met you, you were teaching Bible study. You had groups and you had a lot of things going on. And now you're getting paid for doing the things that you love. It's really great, isn't it?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I was thinking about now my niche really is life and relationship coaching, and I do some business coaching as well. But down through the years, we've had over 18 young ladies who've actually lived in our home, and they were, I guess, their late, early 20s, mid 20s, and they would just come over and somehow they'd end up staying with us. So over a course of years, and single ladies who are all married. And I never knew the love that I had to coach and mentor single ladies, but them living in the home and me just really talking to them and sharing with them that's really how I started now doing relationship coaching, and how I have so much going on with single ladies is because that was something that was birthed in me when they were here. And I didn't even know that I would enjoy it so much. And so that's one of the things I do now. And so it's just amazing how that our life has a series of twists and turns.
Yes.
And if we connect with the right people, we won't see some of the choices that we've made as negative. But we'll begin to look at those experiences and say that I'm on the right path, because had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be equipped to go through this.
That's true.
And,
That is
and
true.
I think that's what it really is. You know, you've probably heard the statement that life isn't a journey; it's a journey. I just don't think it's a life isn't a journey; it's a destination.
Oh,
Or life isn't a destination, but it's the journey. And I think it's the journey of life. That's what it is. It's the journey of life, the things that we go through that really help us to become who we're supposed to be. And if we're just take a moment to be attentive
yes.
and be purposeful, we'll see that our life is not a destination, but we want to grasp and hold on to each segment of the journey, because in each segment of the journey, there's something that God wants to teach us.
Yes, I'm learning more and more these days to ask, like, when I'm going through something, I say, what is God like? What is your intent for this? Help me to see your intent, because I know that everything that is brought to me, everything I experience is for a reason. So what are you really intending for me to see here? I know what I see in the natural, but I know that there's a deeper thing that I'm supposed to be seeing in the spiritual.
Absolutely.
So help me to quiet myself and see what you really want me to see in this experience.
That's powerful. And
Yeah.
and being able to do that, oh my gosh, I think that's what I love what you're doing in your business. You're helping people to take things that's already inside of them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like you got to recreate it. It's who you are. It's God didn't like give me a voice. I've always liked speaking. I mean, growing up, if my mother was here, she would say, yes, I told her, you always talking. You just talk too much. And so, you know, we have to be careful, because now that's what I have an opportunity to do. That's what I love doing. And so being able to speak, I'm so glad I didn't allow people's opinions. And I'm not talking necessarily about my parents, but I'm just talking about in life.
Yes.
People have their own opinions about what you should and should not do, what you should and should not be. And ultimately, God created us. And if I talk a lot, then evidently whatever I'm going to do, He's going to use my mouth.
Right, right. I always tell my children that you may be, and God may want you to be a lawyer, but not today. This is my courtroom. This is my courtroom. When you get your own courtroom, you can work it out there. Because I try not to, my husband, I try not to stifle the things that we see, but we have to help them keep it in perspective.
Absolutely.
And that's all the same thing about dealing with people and working with people in their business. Yeah, you may be good at this, but let's help put some perspective on. Let's help frame it. Let's help market it. Let's help monetize it, because you may be good at it, but you're just not getting paid for it. So let's figure out a way that you can structure your business so that you can pay for it, doing the things that you love to do and still getting paid for it at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So earlier we were talking, I'm sorry. Earlier we were talking about challenges. You brought up something that you said brought up in me, like to ask you in regards to in your business and experiencing challenges, how or experiences, that help you grow as a businesswoman. What have some of those challenges been, and how have they helped you to grow your business?
I think with any business, I can't even begin to tell you. Just getting started was the challenge. I'd never had a business before. My first business, this is not my first business. I was again, looking within myself. What is it? Something that, as God said, there's something in you that people will pay you to do that to you is just normal. And so one of the things is I have a deaf brother. So I sign. So I've been some phenomenal places because I sign. I know how to communicate in sign language. So just starting that business, what are the first steps? What do I need to do? I mean, coming up with a name. Well, what do you want your business to be? What do you want to do? You know, all of these are steps to, it's a process
Right
of
there.
knowing what you want to do, coming up with a business name, looking to see, is that name available? All of those, I think one of the biggest challenges is, where do I start? But the key for me is, I'm gonna start.
That's
Even if I make a mistake, at least I can say I've started. And that's where I think a lot of people get stuck,
yes.
is that they say, I don't know where to start, because the enemy puts in our mind, well, what if you're wrong? But what if you're right?
Right.
What if what you're doing is the right thing? And so what? What if you have to adjust? Does that mean that you failed, or does that mean that now you're wiser? Now
Right.
you're wiser. Now you know what not to do, because you tried that and it didn't work. So again, that was one of the challenges for me, is knowing, starting and deciding what I wanted to do. Because I can tell you, I've done a plethora of things. I have been a sign language interpreter. I came home and I stayed home with my children. And again, looking within myself and saying, what is it about me that people will pay me to do? I'm athletic. I used to teach at the Prince George's Sports and Learning Complex. I taught water aerobics. So I
never knew
taught
that.
water aerobics because I'm naturally athletic. And again, just pulling up all those skills that's within me, and putting those to practice. So I say this, getting started and then just going for it. That's been one of the challenges. The other challenge is stopping the chatter.
Mhm.
Not only the chatter from outside, but chatter within. The chatter that tells you you're not going to be able to do this. The chatter that tells you you're going to fail. People are going to look at you and say, you know, who does she think she is? I mean, all this stuff that the enemy puts in your mind, that most of the time, none of that stuff even happens.
Yes.
So stopping the chatter, so that you don't get started. I
Yes.
think the fact, you know that the fact that you are above ground means that God still has purpose for you, because once purpose is fulfilled, the thing dies. So the fact that you're still here means you have purpose. So I would say that's another challenge, is just shutting down the chatter within yourself, and then also getting around people that are supportive. That was another challenge, is getting around people, the vision that God has given for my business, for your business. He has made you the visionary. So the reality is no one else may see what you see, because it's not my business. It's
Right.
yours.
Right.
It's your
Right.
business. And that's another challenge, is being comfortable when you've prayed about it, you've sought God, and you're like, I really feel like I want to do it. Go ahead and do it. Get away from the people who want to tear you down and are going to say you can't be successful, and all of that, and get around people that are supportive. Even
Right.
when you may stumble along the way, people that are willing to step in and help you. So those are just a few of the challenges, and that's what I've learned. It's
No,
being
that's
able to
good.
get away from, go where you're celebrated,
Yes.
and that's true. It's just not a cliche, go where you're celebrated and not tolerated. That's very important, because not everybody can see the vision, but it's something that you want to do. You believe it's something that God has called you to do.
Right.
Go do it, because life is very fleeting,
Yes, it is.
and take advantage of the time that you have.
Yes. And just know that it's, even if it may not seem like you're making an impact that you see, there's other people out there that see what you're doing and it is impactful to them. They watch you, people are always watching you, and
Yes.
you need to make sure that whatever you do it to your best. And then
Yes.
you leave the rest up to God, because he's the one that brings the increase. He's the one that brings the opportunities to you. So that's really good information, and a positive spin on some of the challenges that can come up. And like you said, it's important just to start, because
That's
you can always sit there and say, well, I'm good at this, but I never did this. But how about I tried it and it just wasn't in that season? Because a lot of times I'm finding where people have tried a business and it wasn't
Mhm.
wasn't right for that season, but they come back to it later on, and it's a big hit. So just because you tried it once doesn't mean that it can't be done again, and just with a few modifications, and you know, it could be work out better in the future than it did in the past for you. So
absolutely, and do what you love. That's another thing. Do what you love to do. That's pivotal. If you don't like speaking, even though people say, "Oh, you're so articulate. Oh, you speak well," but you don't like it, don't do it. Because your audience will be able to know whether you're really passionate about what you're doing or not.
That's
so you
correct.
got to think about, what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? What would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? If I wasn't getting paid, what would I do? Even if no one paid me, I would do this. I
Right.
think that again is very important in moving on. And in the slogan of the United States Army, since I am a former 82nd Airborne paratrooper, I would say go and be all that you.
Be all you can be.
It's
That's a good approach, or just do it, because you know it's great just to go ahead and do it. So in regards to being an entrepreneur and some of the skills that people have or should have, what are some, because you have been an entrepreneur for a while, what are some skills that you think it's important for people to have in order to be successful in their business?
Tough skin. Thick skin is important. I think a lot of times when you first start out in your business, you know, you're not sure what to do. You may ask some people and they may not be as helpful. But if you have thick skin, I would say stick-to-itiveness, perseverance, courage, that you're just going to do it. The Bible says, whatsoever you do in word or deed, do it heartily as unto the Lord. So have that I refuse to give up attitude. That's very, very important, that you have the courage to do it, that this is what you believe that your call is, this is what you want to do, and you're going to go at it 100%. Any other areas?
No, that's good. No, that's a major one, because you know all the other things follow from that. I think that once you have established what you want to do, you have to be passionate about it and stick to it over the long haul. I think a lot of times what I'm seeing in my generation and younger generations is that we expect things to take off real quick. Like, if I started today, I'll be successful tomorrow. And you know, there have been some people that has happened, and there's other people that just have stuck to it, or it may appear like they started yesterday and here they are today, but you don't know what they were doing in the past.
Absolutely.
So you definitely have to stick to whatever you do. Like you said, work hardly and do it unto the Lord, and do it successful. Keep plugging. When people are not believing in your dream, you need to believe, because if you say that's what God gave you, then you need to keep pushing and just know that, you know, I may not see the fruit of my labor, but it's coming. A harvest is coming. It's coming.
Yep. And I think being willing to invest in yourself, that's another thing. So often we want people to invest in our business, but if you don't value yourself enough to invest in you, and what do I mean by that? Get coaching, take courses, do whatever you need to do to, I want to say, to hone your craft, if you will. Yes. There's a learning curve for everyone, and I don't care how well, as much as I enjoy speaking, I still have gone and had a coach that helped me in my speaking practice. Even though I grew up as a signing, because I had a deaf brother, I still took courses to become a sign language interpreter. So you've got to be willing to make the investment in yourself, because if you don't value yourself enough to invest in you, then why do you expect anyone else to? So that's so important, that you also be willing to make the investment, get you a great coach. I'm a strong proponent. I think, and maybe it's because I see in my own life, I think that a lot of where I am today and the changes that have happened so rapidly over the last few years is because I really got me I've gotten several really good coaches. Some things that I did along the way, yes, but then I got to a point that I really needed to make the investment in myself, and I needed to find somebody who was in my niche, or someone above me, someone that I could see that I wanted to be where they are, and then work toward that. So be willing to invest. So if you need to take classes, take classes. If you need to go to seminars and workshops so that you can hone and you can understand. If you don't understand about establishing a business, go to SBA, Small Business Administration, and get the necessary, it's free. It's free for you to go there and speak with one of their representatives. So it's about you making that step. Those are just a few of the things that I think are really, really important. Even some practical things that you need to do if you're looking to be successful. And you're right, don't gauge your success by the number of likes that a person has. You post something on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever, and you're like, no one is really liking. Trust me, the number of people that go past your page and never say a word, they're just watching in the wings. So don't try to judge your work. Don't judge your business based upon likes. Just know that this is something that you've been called to do, and you're going to do it full thrust. And you just never know, like you said, you know that your harvest will be manifested soon. So don't get weary in well-doing. Despise not the day of small beginnings. Yes. And just know that your harvest it will be manifested not many days hence.
That's great. Great information. Let's go over your contact information. If someone wants to get in touch with you or to learn more about you, how can they do that?
Well, on all the social medias accounts, you can find me on the social media platforms at Lady Bobette. And also you can follow me on Periscope also. If you're on Scope, I love Periscope, and you can find me there again at Lady Bobette. Facebook, it's Lady Bobette Brown, but all the other platforms is at Lady Bobette. And also go to my webpage. If you're interested in connecting with me, you can go to ladybobette.com, and there you have access. If you're looking for a speaker, you can click the box there for a speaker. If you're interested in coaching, that's kind of like the main hub that will take you to the other areas of my business. So transformyoucoaching.com is my website for coaching. But if you go to ladybobette.com, that will give you access to all the avenues on how to reach and connect with me.
Great. Thank you again for taking this time out your schedule to talk with us and share your wealth of knowledge and all the great information that was shared on this interview. It was just great. And I just know that when the listeners watch this, they will definitely be inspired to act on the dreams and the visions that they have been given.
Yes. And let me just say, I want to add this one thing, because I do and talk with a lot of people, like I said, that may have gotten stuck and maybe have gone through some personal obstacles, and they feel like that those obstacles are preventing them from moving forward. And I just want to encourage that business owner that maybe have gone through a really tough issue, but they're healed and they're whole and they're well now. And I just want to challenge that person to say, you know what, maybe there's a book inside of you. There's a platform that God has orchestrated for this time and for this season, for what you went through. I never would have known years ago my first child was a miscarriage, but how many countless of people now I get to help because I went through that, or I was sexually assaulted. I get to help countless people. So I don't want you to look at some of the situations that you've gone through and think that you can't start a business from that. And your business may not be something that, like what you're doing, Tara, or even me, but maybe it's going to be blogging, or maybe you're going to write books, or maybe you're going to go into boys and girls clubs, or maybe you'll even go into colleges and you'll teach people. So don't limit yourself because of your experience, but take that experience and turn it into, I think what it was in one of the movies, they say when you're dealt lemons, make lemonade. Yes. And so that's what I really want to challenge everyone to do, is to know that you were created with greatness inside of you. And my prayer is that you don't allow anything to stop you, not even some of those ugly things in our lives. Because I'll tell you this, I think that your greatest place of blessing will probably come from your greatest place of pain.
Yes. Often is very true. Very true. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.